Can everyone hear me? I would like to say welcome and good afternoon to everyone. I hope that everyone is doing okay. Before we start, can someone make a motion to approve the agenda?
I make a motion to approve the agenda.
Oh, I apologize. I skipped ahead. Call to order. So today we have me, Roosevelt Numa. We have Joelle, Dominique, Duncan, the slide just moved. All right, let's go back to, hello?
Go ahead.
Okay, so let's go back to the approval of the agenda then. I'm sorry, the slide moved. So you said that you made a motion to approve the agenda. Can someone please second that?
I second.
Thank you. Are there any oppositions, any abstentions? No? Okay, the motion carries. Before we get into the meeting, some meeting guidelines are that please be respectful with your comments in the chat. We will be having a discussion room where you will be able to talk to us and share any of your concerns. So while you're doing that, please keep appropriate comments and suggestions. If there are any inappropriate comments, the person will be removed from the meeting, and please keep your microphones muted. Also, you can use the chat and the Q&A for questions. For any Q&A, any questions that you would like Dr. Felicia Williams to answer later on, please use the Q&A feature. Thank you. Now for roll call. Today we have Joelle Banham, our SGA Vice President, Dominique Duncan, who's on the call, our SGA Chief of Staff, Flavin Songwain, our SGA Treasurer, Victoria Oganowo, our SGA Senator of Academic Affairs, and Trinity White, our SGA Senator of UTC. And on the call, we have some very special guests. Dr. Felicia Williams, our college president, will be joining us at 4. We have Ms. Kathy Camp, the interim vice president for student affairs, Dr. Foreman, Dean of Student Success and Engagement, Ms. Paulette McIntosh, the SGA advisor and program director of student engagement and leadership, and Dr. Simpson, the program manager of student engagement and leadership. Thank you all so much for joining us today. We really appreciate you guys for allocating your time to come to our town hall. We already went over the meeting guidelines. So to start, we'll start, next on the agenda is the officer's report, and we'll be starting with the SGA president's report. In the past weeks, I attended the Maryland Higher Education Commission meeting, and during that meeting, we were able to conduct our elections and come up with our executive chairperson, our vice chairperson, and our secretary. And we also discussed what some of the next meeting topics would be. For example, next meeting, we hope to come up with a proposal that will allow us to make Election Day a holiday so that students may vote and also volunteer as election judges. I also have been working to fill the 3 Senators of College-Wide Forum senator positions, and all 3 positions have been filled. And we are still looking for more students to join the SGA. We still have a lot of open vacancies. So if you are interested in joining the SGA or being a part of what we do, please just follow. There should be a link in the chat that'll be Ms. McIntosh's email, my email, or the OSAL's office email where you can get contact and have an application sent to you. I also presented a Board of Trustees report on October 8th, 2020. And I gave them a report on what the Student Governance Association have been doing. I also created a 1-minute video for National Voter Education Week. This was in addition to all the other executive officers and all the officers in SGA. We had to create a video to share the importance of voting. And I hope that all of you guys who are listening today have signed up to do your All In to Vote pledges, where you pledge to actually vote and actually go and vote. More information will be posted in the chat about that as well. I also attended the Student Leadership Pathways training, where we learned about what we really need to do in order to get our certificate for leaders pathways. And we also discussed and established our SGA goals, which is to increase voter registration and voter pledge, increase SGA awareness, increase student engagement and attendance at events. We also want to advocate to improve student accessibilities with professors and improve collaboration with other students and groups. Next is our SGA Chief of Staff report.
Hello, everyone. My name is Dominique, the SGA Chief of Staff. Today, I'm just going to give you guys an overview of what I've been up to lately, just an update on Street Team and the SGA Ambassadors Program. So for those of you who don't know, Street Team is responsible for helping SGA and CAB, the Campus Activity Boards, with events and projects that we have developing by helping with the social media platforms, writing articles for the newspapers, and just promoting awareness about both CAB and SGA, as well as volunteering at these events. So thus far, we have been on the verge of recruiting new students who are passionate about volunteer work and student engagement in the college community. And if yourself or you know of any students who would be the right fit for this, there's the link to the Google Forms where you can sign up. Or if you want, you can feel free to contact myself at my email address provided on the slide, or our Secretary Rose on her email address also provided on the slide. This is just for information about Street Team, what it is, what we do, the sign up process, or any general question you may have about it. We also have the SGA Ambassador Program, which is a leadership development program created for students who have at least one or more year of studies remaining at PGCC and would like to shadow our senator or president or executive members' positions so that they might in turn run for that position in the next semester. If you need any more information on this as well, you can contact myself or Rose in the provided email addresses on the slide. As Rosebell mentioned earlier, we still have some opening vacancies for a few positions, including senators for the 3 extension centers, be it Laurel, Joint Base Andrews, as well as the Westphalia Training Center. And these senators would be representing SGA at these extended centers and joining with the main campus so that we can have a liaison with students attending those. We also have online student, which I feel is very important right now, seeing that the climate we're in. And this person serves as a liaison between the online students and the SGA to identify concerns and to propose solutions to address them. We also have a spot for which serve as a liaison between the non-credit students, as it says, and the SGA to also identify concerns and to propose solutions to address such concerns. Last but not least, we have the one for the dual enrollment, which will be for the dual enrolled students and to the SGA to identify issues faced by them and to bring them to the attention of the SGA leadership team so that we can in turn address and propose solutions for those problems as well. If you have any questions, concerns, comments, feel free to reach out to me in the email address, like I said, that's listed on the agenda, and I'll be able to answer your questions. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Dominique. Next, we have our SGA Senator of Academic Affairs report.
Hello, fellow students and faculty. I am Victoria Ogno, the SGA Senator for Academic Affairs. This is my report for this town hall meeting. So the Student Equity Success Project is ongoing. Students should have received a survey from the college through infocenter at pgcc.edu. in their OWL meals. Please check your meals, click the link, fill out the survey, whatever you need to do, as the college will use your responses to best serve you. The Student Governance Association would also like to hear from students. So we created a student feedback form. The link to that form will be posted in the chat. So please fill the form so we can best serve you. The second thing I'll be talking about is the Maryland Association of Community College Transfer Fair. In short, MECC Transfer Fair. It's coming to you virtually this year because of the situation we are in. So if you're transferring and you have questions about transferring, join the MECC Transfer Fair, which began today, and it's gonna be ending on the 29th of October, 2020. You will get the opportunity to engage with four-year institutions from Maryland, out-of-state schools, and historical Black colleges and universities. You will also get to meet virtually with representatives from a variety of colleges and universities. Some of the topics that can be discussed are how to successfully transfer to the university or college of your choice, the necessary materials needed for the application, the entry requirements, major and degree program offerings. For more information, go to www.bit.ly/MDCC transfer. I'll be putting all these links in the chat, or someone else can do so. To join the fair, when you get to the website, you click on Explore Colleges and Universities, then you click on Prince George's Community College icon, the icon of the college you're currently attending. If you have any questions about this fair, please contact mdcctransfer@gmail.com. You do not want to miss out on this event, especially if you're a student eager to transfer. I would like to clarify on some of the course formats that Prince George's Community College currently offers. We tend to mix remote and online classes together. If your course says remote, you are supposed to meet with your professor at scheduled times using Blackboard Collaborate. If you're taking a remote class and you're not having classes with your professor, please contact the department chair for that course. And if you need help about that, the SGA would be very happy to help you. Contact the SGA at sga@students.pgcc.edu. If you're taking online classes, you are not expected to meet at scheduled times, but you should still have deadlines for assignments, and your professors should still hold office hours. For hybrid courses, the format will be a mixture of both online or remote and face-to-face instruction. Reach out if you feel your professor is not doing it the right way. Talk with your professor, and if you're still having issues, please contact the department chair. Now on to scholarships. It seems some students don't know that Prince George's Community College also offers scholarships to our students. Please and please, these resources are available for you to use. Use them to your benefit. For more information about PGCC scholarships, go to www.pgcc.edu/go/scholarship. And as I said, these links will be posted in the chat. A student at large is still needed to serve on the academic council. If you're interested and you're available 3 to 5 p.m. every second and fourth Thursday, please contact the SGA to show your interest. As my fellow student leaders have mentioned, more positions are still open on the SGA. So if you want to make an impact in the college, we'd be happy to have you. Lastly, do not forget to follow the college at PGCC SGA and PGCC Student Life, and check your emails frequently to stay updated, because these are the ways that we really have right now to stay current. This concludes my report. Thank you, and stay safe.
Thank you so much, Victoria. Next is our Senator of University Town Center report, Trinity White. Thank you.
Hello, good evening, everybody. My name is Trinity White, and I'm representing as SGA Senator at University Town Center. And today I would like to discuss new ways that we can update PGCC website. First, we would like like to add new sections. I heard from a couple students and a couple of people on SGA that we should include a COVID response on the main page, you know, how our students are dealing with it and what are we doing to help them with dealing with COVID and remote learning and things like that. Create a section with the Blackboard, Zoom, and My PGC video tutorial. A lot of students are having a lot of difficulty navigating through Zoom and Blackboard and things like that, and it'll be very useful and helpful to have like that tutorial right on the front page of PGCC, so it's easy for them to navigate and get through. And then create a section for volunteer opportunities. The sections that need a little bit of updating would be update and advising page, update student life and support section under clubs and organizations, updating the admission and registration section under visit campus, and update the student life and support section under academic support and training. Website design. A lot of people were saying that the laptop versus phone is a little different, and that should need some improving as well. And add an Ask Hootie icon to make search bar more visible, and using bright colors with thumbnails that can contain more relevant photographs as well. And these are some of the ideas that we have presented to show how we can improve PGCC website. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Trinity. Next, we have our other reports and updates. We have updates from Dr. Janelle Simpson. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for allowing me to speak during the town hall meeting. So I just wanted to provide you with a brief update regarding the virtual club fair. Some of you may or may not be familiar, but we are currently still active, and we want to provide ways for you all to be engaged. As of now, we have 13 clubs who are registered for the fall semester who have been operating virtually, and we want to provide you with the opportunity to join those clubs. So tomorrow from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., you will have the opportunity to log on to the site. On the site, it'll be a Flipgrid presentation, so it'll show from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. So you don't have to stay the entire time, but there will be representatives from each club that will be there to answer any questions that you have as it pertains to membership or just more about the club and what they do. In addition to that, we will provide you an opportunity to start your own club. Maybe once you see the list of clubs that we have, there's something that piques your interest and you want to get that started. And so we'll also provide you additional information on how to get that going as well. So what we encourage you to do is use the bit.ly to RSVP in order to gain access to the site. Again, it will run from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. You do not have to be present the entire time. You can come in and out as you choose. It's a virtual presentation, which will be Flipgrid presentations regarding the active clubs and organizations that we have on campus. And if you ever have any questions, please feel free to email me. I'll post my email in the chat. It's simpsojx@pgcc.edu. And you can always email the OSEL page, and feel free to stop by one of our, during our virtual office hours, and that information will also be provided to you. And as Victoria mentioned, it's very important to follow our social media pages where we include all the information. That is the PGCC Student Life social media page, as well as the PGCC SGA social media page, in addition to your emails. So please be on the lookout for any additional information. And if you have questions, please feel free to enter them into the chat. Thank you.
Thank you. Next on our agenda is our breakout room discussion. In this breakout room discussion, you guys will have a chance to ask us what you'd like to see SGA to focus on this semester. Tell us about your overall learning experience this semester, and what faculty and staff can do to make students feel more valued and empowered to succeed. All right, so I'm pretty sure they're just gonna put it at random.
Can you move Ms. Ross and Jeffrey Waters to a breakout room, Matthew, please? And I need to push a message through. Oh, Dr. Williams just joined us. Okay.
He can shoot me back to room 4. I'm sorry.
To room 4. Matthew, can you put Thelma Ross into room 4, please? Yes, can you put Thelma Ross into room 4?
Thanks, Paulette.
And Jeffrey Waters, you could put in another room. And Dr. Williams just joined us. Hi, Dr. Williams.
Hello, how are you?
Good. Would you like to join a breakout room? They were just going through the discussion questions, so or you can
Tell
stay
me.
here in the main room.
You tell me if it's appropriate for me to be there or for their discussion or hang out here until they return.
Well, maybe hang out here.
All right, happy to do so.
Okay, Matthew, is there a way for me to send a message to the breakout room so I can let them know the questions, remind them of the questions?
There is a broadcast button that I can use. If you just text me what you want to send, I'll take care of it.
Okay, so I would like for you to push, you have the agenda, correct?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so just to push through the questions to all the breakout room, because they might not remember the questions. So what would you like SGA to focus on this semester in terms of programs and initiatives?
I got you. I'll send all 3.
Yes, thank you.
Paulette, I'm still in the main room.
Yes, noticed that. I want to see how I can move you into.
Okay. Hello,
Matthew.
Dr. Williams, since I'm here.
Right. Okay, I'll see if I can move you to that.
So this is what I'm going to try to do. I'm
Okay.
going to try to join it myself and see if it works, Paulette.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
So Dr. Williams, while we're hanging out, I provided you with 3 dates for the SGA blended meeting. So whichever one, if it fits your schedule, you can let me know, because they meet separately as executive officers and as senators, and then there's a blended meeting.
Okay, and you sent that to me? Do I have that?
It was in response to with the Zoom today, earlier. It's at the it's in that's because I just responded to that email about wanting to meet with them.
Okay.
I provided a Zoom link. So.
Let me, yeah,
they meet on Thursdays 4 to 5. So the next meeting is October 15th, November 5th, and then I believe it's December 3rd. Chidera, can you, they're in a breakout room. Thanks for joining us at today's town hall. Can you just manually go into a breakout room? You can select anyone.
Oh, okay.
All right, thank you.
You too.
Thursdays 4 to 5. And now tell me again about, I'm reading this.
Okay, so the next meeting is October, which is October 15th, this Thursday. Then after that, I believe it's November 5th.
Right, in December 3rd.
Or December 3rd is when they're all together, officers and senators.
Okay, and so my team was inquiring about, tell me more.
Oh,
I only know that I had put out that I make available the opportunity to meet with the president and/or the president.
Right, so that's has been set up, but I think when you responded back about looking forward to today's meeting, I think you mentioned that you'd like to meet with the SGA leadership. I didn't know if you meant, I thought the entire leadership.
Yes, saying it's available to, so either is available. So
Okay,
for
great.
the
So I'll follow
president,
up
let
with
me just say,
Monica.
yeah,
Okay,
so the president is afforded an opportunity to meet monthly,
right,
period, you know, at his or her discretion.
right.
They may also have a meeting on a regular basis with the executive, if they want me to come to the executive board. It's a matter of just letting me know, same thing. So I'm happy
Okay.
to do that, right? So
Okay.
it's really, it's more of a both and, not an either
Right.
or.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. I
Yeah.
misinterpreted when I think leadership. I was thinking the entire team.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Could be the entire team. I would love to. Would love
Okay.
to. So I'll make sure, because Monica did mention that she was working on scheduling.
Yes, and
those
she has with
she
the
has.
president and the vice president. Yes, so there's
Okay.
some dates there.
Yes. And then I'd love to do one of these as well, you know,
Right,
or
with just
host
with the entire
with the
leadership team.
full entire
Yes.
leadership team. And
Okay,
I'd
so
like
I'll
to
work
have
with
that.
Monica. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd love to be able to do that at least once a semester, you know, if
Great.
not more.
Perfect.
Yes.
So maybe we'll aim to do for the November 5th. It's kind of towards, so they I'll aim and I'll talk with Monica, you know,
Okay.
to add you to that agenda to
Okay.
their blended meeting.
All right. Yeah, I'm looking at November 5th only because I know my schedule is.
Right.
That would be a good one. Let's jump on it because it
Okay.
appears open.
Okay. So after this meeting, I'll follow up with
Okay.
Monica.
Okay.
Great.
Sounds good. Sounds
Thank you.
good. Yes. No, thank you. Still playing a little catch up on some meetings, so
I know.
to be able to do it, I tell you.
Yes. And there was an additional advanced question that came in after a student wanting to know if more extra credit opportunities can be made available for classes.
So I'll put that as number 15.
Yeah. Let's see, there's must be a question in the chat. Okay.
Hmm.
Oh, Dr. Ibrahimi. Hi. Hi, Dr. Ibrahimi.
Hi, Paulette.
How are you?
Good, thank you.
Good. They're in breakout sessions.
I know. I was in it. I was in the breakout session, but it was mostly staff speaking. So I figured I would pop back here so that I then didn't miss when Dr. Williams came on.
Okay, she's here.
Yes, I see her. Hi, Dr. Williams.
How are you?
Good.
How was the discussion going?
I mean, it's good. It's I think it's hard for the students to get the other students to engage.
Okay.
So it was mostly faculty or mostly staff speaking.
Okay.
Yeah, there were a lot more employees in the room than there were students.
Oh, in her room. Okay.
In my room, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which I thought actually me coming out would help.
Right.
And I didn't have my video on and I wasn't speaking because.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Paulette, did they have a set of questions that they were working through that?
Yes.
Through the breakout rooms that?
Yes. There are 3 questions. What would you like SGA to focus on this semester in terms of program initiatives? The second is, how is your overall learning experience so far this semester?
Yeah.
And then the third is, what can faculty and staff do to make students feel valued and empowered to succeed? So those are the 3 questions.
And is there a scribe in there or one of the student leaders is keeping?
Yes, the SGA leader is assigned to each room, and then they're taking notes and will report back.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, I am looking forward to these upcoming meetings with the leaders.
Yes. And they gave an update of the website. I just went through and perused, and so they sent me their notes. My secretary's putting those in order so that, and then we'll send those out. But some things they thought they want to improve, or they kind of did a slightly like a secret shopper, call numbers to see if they're able to, which was the response time. So they provided some feedback on.
Oh, I love it.
Yes.
I love it. That's good.
Okay, we're getting close to about 10 minutes or so. Just let me know when you're ready for me to bring everyone back.
Sure, thank you. Will do. Amonse, hi, thanks for joining us.
Hello.
Hi, they're in small group discussion. So if you want, you can stay here because they're just about wrapping up, or you could join in and move into a breakout room. Okay, are you able to do that?
Yes, I am. Thank you.
Wonderful, thank you. Hi, Karen Diaz. How are you? Thanks for joining us at today's town hall meeting. They're currently in small group breakout discussion. So if you can just manually move into a breakout room. Are you able to do that?
I don't know how to do it.
You said you know how to do it, or you don't?
I don't.
Okay.
I can take care of it.
Okay, okay, we will move you into a room.
Thank you.
Thank you, Karen. So it's 4:10. You can move them back in, Matthew. Thanks.
Okay, not a problem. Bringing them back now. Remember, give them a good minute or so to sink back into the meeting. So
exactly. Thank you. Hi, Noel. How are you? Thanks for joining us.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, Rose. So Rosebell, if you can have Dominique, Victoria, Trinity, and yourself can share back, report back what were some of the discussions in your respective groups, that would be very good. And Dr. Williams is here with us.
Good evening, Dr. Williams.
Good afternoon, everyone.
All right. Would anyone like to start? Oh, well, I can start, and then Trinity, Dominique, and Victoria.
Yes, and Victoria,
So
in that order.
In my group, at first, people didn't want to unmute themselves and show their faces, which is completely fine. In a virtual setting, which it could be uncomfortable. But after a while, people started unmuting and talking. And honestly, no SGA initiatives came up because we decided it's really hard for us to do initiatives virtual. Like on campus, we have bulletin boards, we have suggestion boxes, we have a lot of things like that where we could really implement different proposals and have a lot of student engagement. So that question wasn't really answered, but we did talk about how our overall learning experience was so far this semester, and I asked everyone to rate it from 1 to 5 and why. And good news, a lot of it was on the positive side. It ranged from 3s to 4s to 5s. And a lot of the reason why it wasn't like a 5 was just because there is always room for improvement. I remember one person in my group, I don't want to get her name wrong, but I think it was Rebecca. She said that the teachers are really, really trying to help. Like everyone is just doing the best that they can, but there's only so much you can do because there's always going to be technical difficulties, internet disruptions, home life. Hard to concentrate when you're in school but at home, She explained that. And one other thing that came up is that we feel like faculty and staff are trying to make us feel valued and are trying to empower us by giving us free textbooks where we don't have to go to PGCC bookstore and spend $200 on a textbook. You have a PDF format that's free. They're giving asynchronous classes or taking away one day of the week to give you time to complete the work and catch up. And there are just some programs that are just rigorous. Like Rebecca shared that she's in the nursing program, so she has to go in sometimes and do that field work, but she's trying her best, and so are the professors. And that's just some of the feedback that came back from my group.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Dominique?
Yes, ma'am. So we, in our group, we focus a lot on the first question, and some of the things that we came up with is that we should focus more on voters registration, highlighting that to students. We also said that more civic engagement programs and activities should be implemented for students to deal with pressing issues such as race, voting as well, poverty and stuff that's going on around us, especially in this climate, and just have probably panels or talks and different activities to get students more engaged and be aware of what is happening. A student also said that we should have Prince George's County officials probably come in to speak and tell us what is happening, what they're doing for the members of their county and such, so that students will be in the know and in the how. We also came up that we should have a wellness approach to have a safe place for students to talk about these pressing issues as well, especially in the climate that we're in. And we should also have something catered specifically for high school students, seeing that their learning experience may be different from the actual college students per se. We also acknowledge that we do have these wellness programs every Friday, but it should be more, probably more, what should I say, more common probably throughout the week, so that every student can have an opportunity to be a part of it. And Ms. Janelle also said that SGA should lead more on civic events held on campus, not only for OSEL, but on a wider spectrum, such as WOW, Trail, etc. A member of SGA should be there to represent the students so that we can have a broader platform to showcase ourselves, basically. For number 2, we set, well, one student got to answer before the time came down, and that person stated that learning virtually is different, as we all know, and classes can be less enjoyable, sometimes even draining, but like Rosebell said, the professors are trying as much as possible to get students to be engaged and to get information across the board. And we were trying to come up with ways in which we can have information be brought out instead of emails, because a lot of students would say that having a bunch of emails coming every single day, you can miss a lot of valuable information. So we were trying to come up with different ways in which we can get it across. We didn't get to touch on number 3, but that's all that my group came up with.
Thank you, Dominique. Trinity?
Hello. Well, my group, nobody was really talking as much as I hoped, but me and one other student, Aquila, we had a very interesting conversation. We only really answered question 2, which was something that they find challenging. And her biggest challenge was that her major is more hands-on than it is virtual. Like some of the stuff that she has to learn is just a little harder to do virtual than it is hands-on and things like that. But other than that, I just gave her a different outlook on SGA, and she asked me questions and I was just answering them basically. But that was our group session and our outlook.
Okay, great. Victoria?
Like Trinity, we didn't really have people talking up, and so but one of the questions we answered was the 3rd question, and Miss Shirley actually posted a link about the wellness center to make students feel more empowered and valued. But it looks like we had so many shy people in our room, so that was it.
Okay, great, thank you. And I turn it back over to you, President Rosebell Anuma.
Thank you all so much for sharing. Hopefully, we'll continue to have these discussions every town hall or every other town hall. We really enjoy the feedback that you guys give to us, and it's not going into deaf ears. We are taking them into consideration, and we will implement changes based on what you guys are telling us. If you think of something after this town hall, please refer to our monthly feedback form and fill that out, and we will get back to you, or email us at our email that is in the chat. Next is our Q&A with President Williams.
Good afternoon, everyone. So it's yet another great opportunity to hear from you all, particularly our students, about your experiences. And I can tell from at least the feedback that has come from each one of the breakout rooms that you're thinking deeply about your experience, and there are always opportunities that we can continue to grow and improve our services to you, because just know that we are so deeply committed to your success. So for all of the folks who, and I understand that it can be intimidating when you get into a small group to speak out, I just encourage you to please share your feedback in one way or another. You know, take advantage of the chat. We can save that and we can benefit from that. Reach out via email to your student leaders, find a way, even if it's to an advisor, but tell your story, because we're certainly interested in how you are experiencing the college, and we want to be responsive in the ways that are most effective for supporting your continued pursuit of your goal while you're here with us. So thanks so much for being a part of this day. There are 15 questions that were submitted in advance, and what I'll do with the help of other team members that are here, if it's something that's beyond my scope, jump in now and I'll reread to you all the question, unless Rosebell, you plan to read them and just have me respond, or if you wanted me to read and respond, tell me which protocol you prefer, and we'll go from there.
I can read and ask you the question.
Okay, great.
All right. Sorry, technical difficulty.
You're okay.
Yeah. So the first question that we have for you, Dr. Williams, is there a way for disabled learners to file for accommodation in certain subjects such as math, English, and/or science?
That's a great question, and I just know that there are some student affairs folks who are on the line and can assist with that. Let me just say that if a student has a disability, they are able to register that disability with our office, and they will work with the student to identify the appropriate accommodations. And I'm going to let one of our team members jump in with the specificity of detail in terms of what a student needs to do. I know you can. I see Dr. Foreman saying it, but you're muted. I don't know if Matthew can unmute her if she's having difficulty unmuting. I'm trying, but I don't have the control to do it.
I think she's unmuted now.
Okay,
Now you're unmuted.
I'm
Yes.
unmuted now.
Super, thank you.
Okay, thank you. So yes, if a student is in need of accommodations, they have to complete an intake process with the team from Disability Support Services, which of course can be done through Zoom. And there is documentation that they request so that they can ensure that they have all that they need to make the proper assignment of accommodations.
So the short answer is yes, absolutely, services are available, and we're here to support students that have any and all forms of disability.
Thank you for that. Your next question is, what is considered your best leadership style? And how are you going to transition this style to creating policies and promoting engagement for students?
Wow. So I really approach leadership from the perspective of, trying to serve others, right? We all enter into our work, I hope, with a sense of calling and compelling to be able to do what it is that we're doing. And around that, we try to derive a set of shared goals and aspirations in our work. I think in leadership, part of that is to do our very best to help people be at their best so that they can indeed make the most deep contributions that are possible so that individually and collectively, the organization begins to achieve at a level that is remarkable, that is better than any one of us could have done or any particular element within the organization. So I hope to bring, a set of shared values around service in our leadership and integrity, and also deep collaboration in our work, and to the good end that it helps us to accomplish what are shared goals and shared aspirations in the work. I think among just lots of just different types of experiences, that's the leadership piece, is that I'm here to ensure that we are most responsive to our students and our community, because that's our mission, that's our core work. And so getting everyone else to rally around that as vigorously and as robustly as possible is what I hope to do as a leader.
Thank you for that answer. The next question is, what challenges do you see PGCC facing in learning implementation for students, and what solutions do you have?
Oh, that's a great question. So, I think there are so many challenges. If I look statistically and just look into the data that's out there, so let's, let me not pontificate about things, but if I just go into the data and see what I see, I'll tell you the things that alarm me in the data, or where I really would love to see the college rally around these things. And most of it is student success. We're just not getting enough student success. Our rate of success is not where it needs to be. And by that, I mean, as students have come into the institution and have identified, first, if we start with graduation, our graduation rate is not where it should be. And we need to understand from students, what are the impediments to the ability to graduate? And I want us to be able to address that. I think our retention rates in certain courses are just not where they should be. In other words, too many students are withdrawing and are not being successful in classes. You know, how can we improve that? Our persistence rates are, you know, challenging. You know, how many students do we see returning from fall to fall and progressing because of the level of coursework that they're taking? So I'm my bullseye on data right now really has to do with student success and what we will need to do in order to improve really the volume of students who are successfully matriculating. Right? You know, if I were to ask you all to raise your hand right now, how many, for the students at least, how many of the students, you know, came to college for non-success, right? Or did you come to college to be successful? You came with a goal, right? An intended outcome. And so a lot of times people will say, well, everyone didn't really come to do this or that. But I think most people came to college with the intent of at least completing a certificate or a credential and or degree that is going to lead to a job or it's going to lead to an opportunity to continue their education at a higher level, you know. And so with that being sort of a conceded goal, then we just need to do better with helping students and supporting students, building your agency and your strength and your ability to be able to do that well and to do it at a higher rate. Solutions. You know, there are lots of things that I could project that we might need to do, but that's the deeper study, the deeper questions that I have. When I look at it, I try to look at those things in a progressive manner. I wonder what happens to students at the front door when I see, you know, a number of students that apply to the college but never enroll at the college. So I wonder what happens at that first leg. If there are things that you all can tell us, you know, such as the questions that you were just answering, such as what I heard about the secret shopper on the websites and things, you know, what are the things that have become barriers to your progress in that? I wonder about the number of students that drop out after the first semester. So what's happened, you know, in that particular time frame? What happened in those introductory classes? I wonder, you know, what are we doing at the front door in those classes? Are there extra measures of wraparound support that we're providing to students for which college may be a first endeavor for their family? They may be like me, I was a first generation college student, so the ability to navigate is a distinct skill from the ability to be successful in the class, but it's an unknown skill. So how do we build facility and agency in those areas? I wonder what else we might do from a sociological perspective and an engagement perspective, because people bring so much more than just their academic prowess to college. And that when students are connected and engaged beyond the classroom, they tend to persist longer in their academic goals. So I wonder what else we might be doing in those areas. I wonder if we are strong in helping our students to really identify their goals and their objectives, if they're in the right sector of classes, for example, or I don't know if they're meandering along a path of a course taking pattern that really doesn't lead to a cogent degree or a cogent credential. So I have more questions about that than I'm able to ask solutions or offer solutions at this point. But I've been in higher education long enough that I can point you to the places where there tends to be a leak in the pipeline. And so what we need to go back now really is test our plumbing and find out where the leaks are.
Thank you so much. That was a well thought out answer and I really liked it. Next question is, in the face of COVID-19, what are the present steps we can take to ensure a safe transition back?
Yes, thank you. And I'm so glad that as students you're concerned about this, because I want you to know we are as well. Safety and security is so important to us in this process. You will see in the weeks to come, we have taken our RTC, our BWise Return to College plan, and we have started a process where we've reframed that plan. And we're really placing health and safety at the front door in terms of our indicators of when is it safe to return to in-person learning as well as in-person work. So we're really beginning to examine what are the medical indicators, what are the environmental indicators that the space we can make it conducive to a percentage of people returning. So we're looking at what's the positivity rate in the county. We're looking at the number of positive cases per 100,000, and we're looking at the infection rate, which is an indicator of transmissibility. If you all are, in any way sort of news junkies, then you'll also recognize that while the state has moved on to phase 3, Prince George's County remains in phase 2. Perhaps you're just experiencing that because, friends and family members in surrounding areas have access to more activities, and you're wondering, why, if you're in Prince George's County, there's still a certain number of things that you can't do. Just know part of that is because the health conditions in Prince George's County is not the same as other parts of the county in terms of the positivity rates and the level of transmissibility. So as an institution, we have felt that it's important to keep that at the forefront of our framework for thinking about when we will return. And we'll continue to do that. There's a team, and in fact, Kathy Camp is on, our interim vice president for student affairs. She's co-chairing that team with Terry Bacote-Charles, who is our vice president for administration and finance and operations, and a wonderful cadre of leaders who are now looking at the conditions for return and ensuring that as we anticipate where we can grow the volume of students that are back on campus, as well as grow the volume of faculty and staff that are back on campus, we also have the appropriate protocols in place, such as PPE that needs to be available in the event that an individual does not have their own, that we're able to maintain a regular schedule of sanitation of the spaces, that we have appropriate signage, that we're able to repurpose spaces so that we can recognize and adhere to social distancing guidelines and protocols in a meaningful way. So we're particularly sensitive to the desire for some of our students to experience in-person learning. We don't want to do that at the cost of health and to increase the rate of transmissibility. But where we can return safely, we're inclined to do so. And so that's what we will be preparing to do as long as, again, those indicators that I just talked about convey to us that it's safe to do so.
All right, thank you. The next question is, do you acknowledge a significant difference between previous work environment and PG?
Okay, I laughed at this question when I read it before, and it makes me laugh again. There's a tremendous difference. Let me just start with the weather. No. It's 90 plus degrees in Florida right now, and it was in the 40s when I woke up this morning here. It's in the 70s now, but a remarkable difference there. There are some clear differences that are environmental, and but what I find is people and purpose and pursuit of higher education and seeing it as a catalyst for change and transformation, and students with goals of getting great jobs and earnings, and the betterment of their family and their communities, and faculty who are committed to student success and are still perfecting their craft and working on their scholarship around learning, and staff who are committed and eager to see. Those kinds of things are really the same. What's different are the demographics are different, right? There's a higher percentage of, demographic, groups here than the school that I'm coming from. But both institutions that largely served students of color. A larger, I'm coming from an institution where we had north of 70,000 students, 74,000 students. So I'm in an environment where it's, just a little north of higher, of half of that, so size is different in terms of doing it. there are multiple centers here. I'm coming from an institution with 9 campuses, distinct campuses across a 2-county area, compared to being a single county service district. So there are structural differences that are certainly the case. But you know, the fundamentals and the essence of community colleges and what they're designed to do, and the people who find great passion in serving in this sector, I find that to be quite similar.
All right, thank you for that answer. The next question is, where do you see yourself in the next 6 months in terms of your growth in PGCC?
Oh, that's a great question. So I really hope 6 months from now that we're clearly in the process of what I'm going to say, probably not finished with, but very deep in the process, perhaps at a rough draft of what would be our next iteration of a strategic plan. And that I have learned enough, had enough conversations with students and faculty and staff and our community to be able to collectively begin to advance a draft of what that should be as we begin to think about what our shared values might be, as well as what our shared work might be over the next 3 to 5 years. That I have been a deep enough learner from asking questions and listening to the responses, synthesizing that information, evaluating programmatic information to lead us in that particular process, so that people have clarity and a sense of concrete strategic endeavors that we will do together over the next several years.
Thank you. Your next question is, what mentors or leaders inspire you in your professional or personal journey?
So mine are simple. I know, I could name a number of well-known people, but the people closest to me who have inspired me all of my life, both have passed away, and that's my mother and my grandmother. And so my grandmother was, hardworking, domestic, and, cleaned houses, as well as, worked in the hospital as a custodian for most of her adult life, besides working on a farm as a girl. And when I was a little girl, I would leave elementary school and walk to the hospital, which wasn't very far from where my elementary school was, and go to work with her. And seeing how hard she worked from being a little girl all the way to when she passed away when I was finishing college, by the time I graduated college, but doing so with such dignity and such respect. And that always just set a tone for me that hard work pays off. And so I have always maintained that type of ethic. People that know me well, will always say, why do you work so hard? And I'm like, I don't know another way than to work hard, because that's all that I have seen all of my life. And so that was inspirational to me all my life. And I grew up with my grandmother. And then my mother, who passed away last year. In fact, I'm just coming up on her year anniversary. She passed away last November. But my mother was born with a disability. And so I have a deep sensitivity also to individuals with a disability. But my mother also never let anything stop her. She was just a remarkable woman, and that just was never an excuse for her in life. And so for the 4 children of her own that she raised, besides the number I could tell you of other children, because her occupation was she was a caretaker, believe it or not. So even with her disability, she took care of children. And so she was an inspiration for so many. I mean, at her funeral, it was just, amazing the number of people that thought of her as having been a part of, their upbringing or parent, because this idea of I can't just was not allowed to be a part of our vocabulary. And we saw that in her as well, because she did not allow the limitations of her disability to hold her back in anything in life. And so I bring all things are possible. It can be done. We just have to think of the ways to do it, right? We have to reconstruct, deconstruct, redesign, design, right? But we find different and new ways to do things. But barriers are just meant to either be broken down, climbed over, go on around. But we just keep pressing and keep achieving. So there's still, you know, and I share that in saying I have met phenomenal people in my life. I had the opportunity as in my prior role at Valencia to host President Obama, and then to be his guest, you know, on 2 occasions beyond that occasion. And I was deeply enamored with him. But yet, when you ask who has inspired me and who are my role models, it's still my mother and my grandmother.
Thank you so much. And let me say, I am so sorry for your loss, both your mother and grandmother.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Next question. In the face of COVID-19, why do you feel it is important for students to pursue academic and personal goals in a time of possible hopelessness?
Yeah, right. Because it's again, it's just like what I'm saying about the reason that I'm inspired, the things that undergird me in life is I just believe there's so much good that is born from adversity, right? And from challenges, and realizing that therein lies the growth in character, the growth in resolve, and even the growth in our skill set that allows us to be successful, not just in a time of crisis, but well beyond a time of crisis. So there's a saying that is almost, it suggests, you know, to do good without adversity is really quite simple. But really the test of sort of our prowess is how well we are able to persist. It's that grit, it's that resiliency when there is adversity, right? It's then that we really test our skills and we test our character. So I think it's important for students not to lose sight of their goals, and to recognize that life will always have some adversity in it. There will always be some challenges. It may slow our pace, but it should not cause us to shrink back from what we're pursuing in the first place. We just have to find that way to say, what's the reasonable pursuit of this goal under the circumstances? So I would hope that that's a strong message to our students is, and it's more than just COVID-19 at this point, right? It's the social unrest, it's the emergent and real economic recession and what that might mean. But yet we're still alive, yet we still have breath in our bodies, yet we are phenomenal human beings of purpose. And so we have to engage despite the circumstances, even when we have to rethink how we will engage. So I think that that is an important lesson for students to learn, but for humanity to learn, because we don't get to define the context of every place that we will be assigned to achieve. But we do get to determine that we will still achieve, we will still persist, we will still pursue, even when we have to adjust the rate.
Thank you so much for that. And Dr. Williams, due to time, we might not be able to get through all the questions today. So I'm just gonna go through the list and see which questions that are, because a lot of them are repetitive about COVID and
yes.
All the unanswered questions will be asked at the next meeting, so don't worry if your question doesn't get answered today. We do have a question about the evaluation form. So there was a time where you did talk about an evaluation form being on Blackboard, but students are finding it hard to locate. Where can they find this evaluation form? I think someone named Jeanette shared her own situation, and she's still unable to find the evaluation form.
You know, I'm going to ask our team, I'm going to find out where it is, because this is the second town hall that the evaluation appears to be elusive to students. And I'm thinking it ought to be like a big red button. Let me just say that. It shouldn't be hidden anywhere. I'm going to tell you from my experience of what institution that I'm coming from, but there's more that I need to learn about how it happens here. I'm accustomed to there being an evaluation window that opens, and students are sent the evaluation directly via student email. So they actually have a link to it in an email, and then there's a link that is built into their classes. Now, not right now, we're in a remote scenario, so, you know, everyone's in Blackboard, so to speak, and can get to it. But under normal circumstances, when they're not, it's sent directly to students via their student email. So, and they would get it sent to them 3 times. There would be when the window opens, there would be a midpoint that says, you know, we're about to close the evaluative process, and then there would be the final, as in, you know, please submit your evaluation. And then there's a self-serve model, which is built into the course shell. So I just don't know. I listened to the folks that responded before and said it was in Blackboard, and I was really excited to hear that. But clearly we need to make that a bit more visible for students and ensure that there's a self-serve model so that you know where it is at all times. Know that in the meantime, though, we are sending surveys directly to students about their COVID-19 experience. And then there are a few open-ended questions where you could share feedback that may be important to you. In fact, I believe one of those is getting ready to go out. So while I also heard ideas about how else we might communicate besides email, let me just encourage you for now to look for those emails in your PGCC student email because we are surveying you directly there to get your feedback. But we will promise to get information and have that written in our responses to the questions about where in Blackboard a student can actually find the evaluations for their courses or in their faculty. Unless there's someone on the Hollywood squares that could give that answer right now. I'm seeing heads shaking. All right, so we will get the information and post and publish that for you.
All right, and I will add the faculty evaluation process for the agenda for the November 10th meeting. So please bear with us. It'll be there, and we'll share that information with you guys.
Very good, and thank you to folks who are also posting in the chat. We will store that information. Thank you for your courage to do so.
All right, this concludes the Q&A with Dr. Williams. Dr. Williams, thank you so much for coming out and answering all our questions. It is a pleasure. As always, you're so kind and you're always so willing to answer all of our questions with transparency. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I invite Ms. McIntosh for the announcements.
Hi, everyone. Just wanted to go over a few announcements. Today, October 13th, is the deadline to register to vote in Maryland, DC, and Virginia in order for you to cast your vote in the upcoming general election. So please make sure that you go to this link, PGCC All In to Vote, where you can access the information to vote, to register to vote online, and also to take the pledge. I want to give some update as to how we are doing in regards to the PGCC All In to Vote pledge. Remember, we're competing with about 162 other institutions, and right now, University of Texas in Austin, they're leading with 1,100 pledges. So their students, 1,100 of their students have taken the pledge, and Prince George's Community College is in 3rd place amongst community colleges with 36 pledges. So we have a long way to go. So please take that link. The link will be added in the chat. We have sent it out to all students via email. If they're employees, faculty here in the meeting, please share it with your students. It just takes a few minutes for them to click on that link and take the pledge. Sinclair Community College in Dayton, Ohio, they have 211 pledges, so they're leading in the categories for community colleges. And as I said, Prince George's Community College, we're on the map, we're in 3rd place, but we won this in 2018. So please go on, register to vote, take the pledge, and remember to request for your mail-in ballot if that's how you deciding to cast your vote. The deadline is also approaching October 20th. Also want to share that there will be a leadership workshop on this Thursday at 5 p.m. on confidence in leadership, finding your purpose, and that's open to all students. So the link will also be posted in the chat, or check your email. You receive an email from Info Center with a lot of this information. So we want to encourage you to join us this Thursday at 5 p.m. for this leadership workshop. Hot off the press, just want to let you know we're going to be having a couch party, all in The Fight for Democracy. It's that new documentary film with Stacey Abrams, and so it will be aired October 14th. So that's tomorrow at 8 p.m. And so there is this link, the motion picture link, to be able to view this film with other students across the country. And it's not active until 8 p.m. tomorrow. And the code that you will put in, you need to enter the code, which is all in challenge. Okay, so again, that link will be placed in the chat, and you can click on that link and activate that at 8 p.m. tomorrow to watch this wonderful documentary and to be able to participate in the group chat. So this is the information again, all in the Fight for Democracy. How the right to vote went wrong. So please join us for this wonderful film tomorrow at 8 p.m. Again, just reminding all the students that there's a virtual transfer fair started today. So October 13th to the 15th and all the way until the 29th. A link was provided in the chat. We'll put that again. It's open to all students in Maryland from the 16 community colleges in Maryland. So there are over 120 colleges and universities. So please participate in the transfer fair, get information, learn about their processes and what these different colleges have to offer. So please join us. Dr. Simpson shared earlier, just a reminder that tomorrow is the club fair. And we want you to share this information with other students. Encourage your friends to join. So click on the link. Again, that link is in the chat, and for you to be able to get the access link so that you can learn about the different student clubs and organizations and how you can get involved. Mention about the Student Equity and Success Project. So again, Dr. Baker Brown, if you want to provide her with feedback, and be on the lookout for the survey that is being sent out to students if it has not already been sent out. And the library is still open online, so utilize your librarians and to get assistance with research projects, etc. And the next SGA Town Hall meeting will be held on a very special day on this year, and that happens to be my birthday, Tuesday, November 10th at 3:30 p.m. So be on the lookout for the RSVP link, and again, you can join us at that meeting for the next SGA Town Hall and Q&A with Dr. Williams. And that concludes the announcements for this town hall meeting.
All right. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today for this town hall meeting. Before we go, if anyone has any questions and concerns, please just plug it in the chat, and I promise that we'll go through it before and get it back to you for the next town hall meeting. Can someone please make a motion to officially adjourn this meeting?
There's a question in the chat. How can we save the chat? I don't know if it's enabled in this meeting.
What was the question, Victoria?
Matthew will be able to save it. Yeah. Matthew will be able to save it.
That is correct.
Yes.
Okay. There was one more question I think we should address before we leave, just really quick. Somebody said spring registration begins really soon and they would like to know when we will reopen. They acknowledge that Dr. Williams addressed the protocols, but they just want to know when we will reopen being on campus specifically.
It's a great question. So we're about to send out some communications about what is our posture for spring. Based upon the health indicators, we're still in phase 2. So we have not met the threshold where we would be able to say that we could move to another phase in its entirety. However, we are at a place where we can grow our volume within the phase. What I mean by that is we're at a place where we can bring a higher number of classes back on campus in a hybrid format. We're in the phase where we can do roughly 5% of our students on campus, and we believe that we can do that safely. We're probably at 1%, maybe a little less than 1% right now. So our leadership is already working on a spring schedule that will increase the number of hybrid sections that will be available on campus, such that students who need to be able to perform the hands-on portion of that class in person, they will have the opportunity to do so. The lecture will largely remain in the remote environment, but they will be back on campus to do that. So you'll see the schedule when it posts, that there will be a higher number of those classes that will be available for students to take in the spring. But we will still remain largely remote until, again, the environmental conditions improve and suggest that there is a sustained trend towards a decrease of the virus being in the environment, as well as the transmissibility of the environment, of the transmissibility of the disease in the environment. So look for more classes to be in a hybrid format so that more people will be able to take advantage of that opportunity. But we're still going to keep health and safety at the forefront.
Thank you so much for answering that question.
Yes.
If there aren't any more questions for this meeting, can someone please make a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I second that.
If there aren't any oppositions and there are no abstentions, this meeting is now officially adjourned at 4:58 p.m. Everyone, please continue to stay safe. And if you have any questions, feel free to email us at our email that's in the chat. Thank you and have a good night.